Okay, I believe we are live right now. Welcome to Yard Finance. I'm so excited. Another day. You know, when is a new day, I personally get excited. So please permit me. Welcome on board. Anyway, just for a test transmission, just to ensure that we are live. And so give me a couple of seconds while I do my test and adjustment just to ensure that we are live because I see that everything is looking clean and good over here. Okay, all right. So let's jump straight in. And now I can testify that we are live. All right, let's do this. Welcome on board. And if you are new here, this is Yard Finance. And on this page, I break down finance into raw practicality. And how do I do this? We talk about investments, we talk about personal finance, and we talk about strategic ways of building long-term wealth. And if this is something that you are actually considering, then please do me the honor, subscribe to this channel. This is where you want to be, all right? When I talk about something, I do it and I show you that this is how it is done. And so I'm not that person that comes to give you the theory and then I'm like, okay, now you're on your own. No, I'll lead you throughout the process. And so if you also want to work one-on-one with me, in the description I have my link right in there, my stand store. Book a one-on-one with me. I also have mentoring sessions for your young ones, talking about financial literacy, defining the path where we aim to be. Today we know where we are, but do we know about tomorrow? All right, today we're talking about 10 years. So 10 good years you want to retire. Do you think it is possible? Well, if you ask me, I think it is more than possible. So if you are here and excited, I am excited. Yes, I see that we are actually live. And once again, let's get straight into it. Now, in my intro, let's assume that you intend, so that is your aim, to retire in the next 10 years. You have no investment knowledge. You've never invested. And so you are wondering, what should you do? So that is why I'm here today. And if you are that person, then your best 1 hour is going to be with yours truly. Yet, once again, do me the honor, share to someone, invite others on board if you can, and say to someone, hey, Yat is right here again doing her business. And so, yes, the aim is going to be £1 million. Did you hear that? And the minimum is going to be £500,000 because yes, I do get it. It varies. Our income varies, and so today we are here, tomorrow we are there. Sometimes we can actually determine what is taking place. Once again, I come with the numbers and I come with some cool presentation for you, just so I don't bore you with my talking throughout. All right. All right, so let's jump straight into it. And with us doing this, let me make myself a little bit tinier, yeah. Because I want you to get the most of this presentation tonight. And to me, like I kept saying, if I impact one home, that is job done for me. So I don't know how many people will be watching this later, but then if I get one home impacted, I believe that my job was well delivered. And that means 1 hour here was actually meant something. And don't be that person that jumps onto this platform and just go, okay, that was another one. No, it should never be another one. It takes the one who wants to actually move with something. Otherwise, you can be in a room full of influential people. And when you leave their presence, you still have yourself, all right? Anyway, just before we dive deeply, I just want to remind you that my book is live on Amazon. It's on TikTok Shop. It's also on my stand store. And the link is all in the description. Teach your children your habits and not your inheritance. What this book has that your other finance book does not have is my reality, my experience, my life in this book. And so please do me the honor and by all means, get a copy for yourself. All right. Okay. So what do we have here? So now, like I said, you do not want to do any side business. Someone is trying to chain me down. What is happening? Okay. All right. I'll respond to that later. Okay. All right. So now this is what is going to be happening. You assume that you do not, all you have is your one income. That is all you think you have. You do not have any side hustle. You don't have any talent. You don't intend to do anything. There are some people like that. Believe you me, they don't want to take any business risk. They don't want to do any extras. All they want to focus on is their 9 to 5. Come home 9 to 5. Their family. It is good. See, no one is condemning you if that is what you actually want to do, and so it is fine. And so now for this particular spreadsheet, I'm trying to say that you are not a trader. Not businesses as well, not even 5 or not even 1, okay? So what I'm going to give you is one repeatable system. That is what is going to take place today. And so the system is going to be these 10 stages. That is the steps that you are going to go through. Number 1, I need you to build an emergency fund. Considering what I've actually elaborated, you are not an investor. You don't have any in-depth knowledge when it comes to investing, all right? You've never probably done this before. It's you hearing it here for the first time. Yet says you can retire in the next 10 years. And so you are wondering, okay, now I'm curious. Let me stay here with her. Now, what I need you to do is to build an emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? So I need you to calculate your living expense. Your living expense. And so in the next let's say 1 to 6 months maximum. I would say 1 to 3 months because we are in a hurry to move to the market. So from now to the next 3 months, I need you to calculate your entire monthly living expense, multiply by 3, 4, 5, or 6. Now that should be kept in a high yield savings account. I think that you can do your due diligence in. Otherwise, please, on Yacht Finance platform, do me the honor, go and get educated. I have a lot of videos when it comes to a good ETF, a good high yield savings account. Your cash ISAs are also there. But when it comes to the cash ISAs, I will encourage you to go for the variables and not the fixed if you can. All right. Okay. And so, yes, we have, you need to build that emergency fund. And that is the first one. I also need you to pay for knowledge. Knowledge is power. This is a journey you've never been on before. And so please pay for knowledge. Once again, go to my stand store, book me one-on-one. Let's do this together. Because if I move you into a fund or into the stock market, what are you going to do? It's like you being in the forest. Should I go left? Should I go right? Where's my arc? What's the direction of travel? And so please, it could be you buying an investment book. By all means, do that. There are a lot of investment books out there. But all I'm trying to say, it is possible in the next 10 years. Pay for knowledge. It's an investment in yourself. The third one is to restructure the household. Now, when it comes to decisions like this, I like, especially if you're married, move together. A family that works. All right? A family that works. When two work together, they can do a lot. Now, this is not me saying you can't do on your own. Yes, you can. And so even if you are single, all I'm trying to say that there should be restructuring when it comes to the household. Restructuring with your income, your outgoings, your spending, your budgeting, all your subscriptions. There should be some restructuring because only you know your reality. And so take that pen and paper because see, where I'm taking you tonight, there's going to be a lot of sacrifices. And so all I need to know is if you need to speak true to yourself because when it gets to that sacrifice zone for the next 1 to 10 years, it's not going to be an easy journey. And so I need you to speak true to yourself. That is why restructuring must take place. Number 4, I need you to know your number. And I'll be showing the numbers with you with the figures. And so if it is, if you're going for £500,000, what you should be expecting to invest. And if you're going for the £1 million, what you should be expecting to invest. Also, I need you to build for growth. We are not chasing the hype. Considering you've never invested, we may not be running and chasing after individual companies. Yes, we will diversify. So maybe a couple here and a couple there. But then we are not going to chase for the hype. We'll be going for growth. That is going to be the focus. And so if I buy this today, it's not just the dividend side. I'm also focusing on the growth. All right. Also, number 6, we're going to keep the portfolio very simplified. You should be able to understand. Now, I keep saying to people, if you can't trust me with your money, then there's no point. Don't give me your money. It's as simple as that. So now, what do I mean? If you do not understand a company, why do you want to invest in a company? You understand? If you can't trust me with a company, why do you want to invest in a company? So it's something that you should be actually checking as well. Also, use this structure. This is my structure. This is what I tell my students. This is what actually works. It's proven. Almost everyone that has actually tapped into this, it has worked. And so I give it to you for free tonight. All right. This is what actually works. Number 8, I need you to invest on your payday. Now, when I talk about the payday, that means we need to have set automation before your payday. And so if you are live with me, thank you so much for joining me. I don't take your time for granted. So thank you. I'm so grateful. Tap the screen for me. And let me hear your comments coming through, please. Thank you so much. And God richly bless you. Also, now going back to the payday, I need you to set automation. We are not going to start investing manually. We're going to set direct debit into our investment. And so please, it's something that you'll be doing. Once again, this is the systemic steps that you'll be doing to achieve either 1 million or 500,000 in the next 10 years. And if you think the next 10 years is something that is way beyond the future, no, I'm sorry. It is today here, tomorrow there, and then the next 10 years. The last time I checked, I had a little child, and today the child is 11 years old. Sometimes when I even think about it, it blows my mind away. All right, so number 9 is every improvement feeds it. What am I talking about? You receive a bonus, we increase it. You get a pay rise, we increase it. A windfall to your home. Say you are investing into premium bonds and you win 50,000, you win 10,000, you win 5,000. What I mean is whatever that is not actually expected comes to your home, we are topping up. Now stick to this system. If you can screenshot this page, I need you to do that. See, you may not even book someone or contact anyone to support you. Screenshot this page. You should be able to manage. All right. Now, finally, we need to review, and this is why someone comes in. You need to review and reduce the risk. The market is highly volatile. The trend yesterday can't be used for today. All right. What took place last month won't take place this month. What took place last year may not repeat this year. And so at every time, I'll say yearly or 2 years, we need to review your portfolio. What is working well? What is this that is not working well? That is why I encourage you to get someone on this journey who can actually support you throughout your entire journey. All right. Yes, you are going to buy the knowledge. The knowledge will be given to you. But when it comes to your assessment, you need to have someone who will support you. Okay, no. I think like recently, Vanguard has just launched a new UCI ETF. And to me, that holds the large cap, the mid cap, and the small cap. And so if after a year, Vanguard has released this, probably if I'm interested because I've studied metrics, I know what it holds, I know what the risk levels are, then maybe I may say, okay, now let's move or reduce our stake in VWRP and then move a little bit into VALL. You understand? So that's what I'm actually talking about. Okay, I hope you've taken a glance of this. Let's move to the next. Now, so step 1, you build emergency fund. Remember, I've said all of this. And the reason why you are building this is because a breakdown can take place. Your boiler may break down. Unexpected occurrences. We are not promised tomorrow. And so it is imperative that you build an emergency fund. And like I elaborated earlier, it could be between 1 to 6 months, minimum 3 months, especially with my introduction, considering I said you've never invested. You do not understand how the market reads. If I talk about the London Stock Exchange, you're like, what did you talk about? If I talk about primary markets, you're like, what are you talking about? Build an emergency fund because that is going to shield and protect you. This to me is a no-brainer. It is for your protection. Like I said earlier, you pay for knowledge. And with your knowledge, we're talking about the stock market. We're talking about the ETF, the index funds. We're talking about your ISA wrappers. Because with the ISAs alone, we have the stocks and shares ISA, we have the LISA, and then we have your cash ISA. Do you understand all of this three? Have you paid attention to it? Are you using the right tax wrapper? Is that what the intent is? And then we talk about the risk. Then we talk about compounding. Then the full structure of the next 10 years. Okay? And so that is what you'll be paying your knowledge for. Now, your risk structure, like I said, now, whatever comes in, I will encourage, if you are a family and 1 million is your number, do this together. Do this together. All right. If you are single, you can also do it together. But if you are single and you intend to achieve between 500, which is what I said is the minimum. Now we'll be moving to the calculator soon. So just stay with me. And so say £500,000, which is your minimum. That is fine, no problem. But then if you're the only one shielding your entire bills, then probably you want to get a tenant in with you, or you want to move in with someone where you try to reduce your outgoing and keep more with yourself. Otherwise, if a family of, say, maybe you are married and you have your entire combined income, say £7,000, and your outgoing is 6,000, I have a problem there. So we need to plan and restructure. Because if you're able, the only time you can restructure is when there's a budget in place and you put a pen to everything. Then you know that, okay, now this is what my number is. This is what I'm actually working with. Because we need to ensure that our outgoings is actually in its greatest minimum for us to be able to achieve this. Now, I'll be showing you how much we actually need to be able to do this, all right? So just stay with me. Okay, so now if we need £500,000, then we need £1,824 invested. Bear with me. Thank you. And if our target is £1 million, then 3,648 is invested. Now, when I talk about you retiring on, or probably you have in your figure, say £1 million, I want you to know that it's not just in cars. You've actually factored your living cost in there. And so it's either the aim is 1 million, and out of the 1 million, we may be settling our mortgage, because it's all part of retirement package. That is how you do a retirement planning. You factor all of this. You factor insurance. You factor your living costs. Then you do the multiplication. And so now, if the number is £500,000, then we need to be investing 1,824. Now, you on the other side may be wondering that how do I get this? You don't need to do that at a go. You can build from a point. That is what I said. Now, you said you don't want any side hustle. You don't have any talent. You don't want to do anything. If you had a side hustle, then you have other income coming in. But for this purpose, we are targeting one income. And so let's assume your entire income is £3,000. Your spouse's is £4,000. So you see, we have a lot actually coming in. Or maybe you are single and your entire income is, say, £4,000. Then we need to find a way of squeezing 1,824 into the market to invest. All right, now let me share my screen. Let me cancel it. So we have 1,824. Share the screen. Let's select our calculator once again, and then we share. Okay. All right. So I see my calculator. Now let me give myself a couple of seconds just to ensure that the calculator is showing on the other hand. All right, so now I can see the calculator live. And so, yes, let's say for the first month, we have nothing going in there. And for the purpose of this, I'm going to use 16% to do the calculation. Remember, the S&P 500 actually give us on a 10-year stretch has given us 11.6. So we'll be using that as well, all right? And our years is 10 years. Now, every month we have 1,008 and 24 going into the market. And then, over here we have zero, because when we start from the initial, we do not have anything going in. And so we have £0 going in. Now let's calculate this. So you see that with 1,824, we have $500,000. $500,000. That is what the compounding does. And the only amounts that you may have contributed yourself is 218,880. Now, the remember 314768 is purely the market doing its business and compounding. This is no magic. This is the reality. Okay. Now, if I use, see, the Vanek Semiconductor gave us 50.1 last year. I'm not going to use that because that is the where I actually want to preempt your vision. And so let me move back to the S&P 500. And so, and then on a 10-year stretch, it's actually give us 11.6. And so let me use 11.6. So that means if the S&P 500 in 1 year gave us 42, 22, 32, 11, minus, negative, all of that on an average, 11.6 for 10 years. And that is what I'm using for this. If we calculate, you realize we are almost hitting 500,000. And so regardless, and I have seen funds that has consistently done an average of 18% and 22% on a full 10-year stretch. And so you see how possible what I'm actually talking about this. Now, once again, if your number, let me stop sharing here. All right, stop. So now back in the studio. Now, if your number is £1 million, then we are looking at in the next 10 years, 3,648. And so just as we did earlier, let's move into our calculator. And then in our calculator, here we find ourselves. And over here, we are going to change to 3648. All right, I'll give myself a couple of seconds. Okay, so we are live, 3648. And over here, I'm going to move to 16%, which is what I'm actually using for this illustration. All right. And now we calculate. So you realize you have over 1 million in 10 years. Therefore, instead of you even overpaying your mortgage, do not overpay the mortgage. Move it into the stock market. Start investing repeatedly and consistently. You repeat the same cycle. Once in a while, we review the portfolio. And you realize in the next 10 years, you have 1 million. And so when that young child says, I want to retire at the age, I know someone, an influencer who says she wants to retire in the next how many years, and people keep saying it is not possible. This is how you realize there is a huge possibility. When you run your numbers, you believe, then you begin to understand how it actually works on the stock market. And so then you stop saying that is not possible, that is possible. No, it is possible. You just need to understand what you're doing. And if you do not understand what you are doing, then I'm sorry. You may be singing the same song and then you say, no, this is not possible, but it is possible. 10 years is all it takes. So that is what I'm trying to say once again. You do not have a side hustle. You do not have any other extra income. You don't want to open any business. Well, the little income you have coming in, one income, let's move somewhere. And what do? We invest. And we allow time. So with your discipline, consistency, and commitment, these attributes, discipline, consistency, commitment, that is your habit. And that is a habit I elaborate in my book. That is a habit that you are going to use for the next 10 years. Then after that 10 years, or within the 10 years, you can say to your child, this is what I'm doing for my future. And when the child gets to your level, that child can have continuity. Why? I saw mommy do this. I saw daddy do it. And I know it was possible. And daddy used to say, well, Yacht Finance taught me. Yacht Finance educated me. All right. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen and then we move on to the next slide. So now this is how the direction of travel takes place. You realize from the first year, it looks like we are doing nothing. Even the second year still looks like we are doing nothing. But then on the third year, you realize there's a bit of a sharp move. And then the curve gradually digresses a little bit. It goes in a slope. And then gradually with the years, it moves to the upper trend. But on your mortgage curve is the opposite of this. Is the opposite of this. And so you realize if you are contributing 1,800, then probably you are in the green, you're looking for to 500,000 pounds. And you are in the 3-6 zone, which is possible. Now, in July 2026, I invested 3,600. In August 2026, I invested 3,600. And that is not my entire household. That is just me. Now, do not tell me, oh, probably you are earning whatever. No, we've just find a way to manage to have other side incomes. And so we can do our budgets, run the numbers, and still be available to do this. That is what I'm saying to you, that if you earn quite a lot, yes, this journey, you can do it on your own consistently. And if you have a partner, move together. 1 million is feasible. It is possible. You can do this. And remember, your partner also have their own tax system. You also have yours. And the tax wrappers are there for you. The stocks and shares ISA, you have 20,000 pounds each year. Your partner also has 20,000 pounds each year. And so that we move with speed. It is possible. Couples learn to work together. Can two work together? Learn to work together, please, in all humility. Okay, so we build for growth and not just safety. Okay, and so now the diversification is what I talked about. Then we control the allocation. We diversify S&P 500 here and there. We move here and there into broad companies. We move into large cap, mid caps, and small caps. Ones that have actually tested the time. That is what I'm talking about. And if anything, I'm saying, see, every career has its own language. If you go to see the doctor, there is a language they use. You see the solicitor, there is a language they use. When it comes to finance, there is a language we use. I remember the first time I was enrolled into London Institute of Banking and Finance, and I was like, whoa! Remember, I was coming from a banking background because I have a BSc in banking and finance, and I'm moving to do a higher certification. And now I was like, okay, now that I didn't come close to, you understand? So we have our own terminology. That is why I encourage people when it comes to finance and building wealth, pay someone to be a part of that journey. And I'm not selling anything to you. You don't have to. But what I'm trying to say, find a way to contact someone. Contact a finance advisor. Contact an investment coach. All right. And then that person will help you on that journey. Or do it through your bank. Go to your bank and invest through them. All I'm saying is invest, but it should be diversified. Now, the fixed all world ETF give us 22.56, approximately 22.6 in the year 2025. And in the same year, the semiconductor VanEck also give us 50.1%. But then you realize that same year, now let me move to the other screen so you can see this better. You can appreciate what I'm trying. Yeah, you can appreciate this better. So you realize that the all world in 2025 gave us a return of 22.6%. But in a 10-year stretch, on its average, is giving us 11.7. When it comes to the VanEck semiconductor, 2025, it gave us 50.1. So that means if I had invested 1,000 in the beginning of 2025, then at the end of 2025, I would have had 1,500 probably. You understand? But check this. The same VanEck semiconductor in 2022 went into a minus 3.5%. And so an investor does not change strategy because investment went down. You still maintain momentum. And if better, I say to people, if the company is good, if your investment strategy is great because it's solid, you understand what you're doing. When there is a reduction, you invest more. That is where DCA comes in, your dollar cost average. Your dollar cost average. And so it's a win-win-win. It's a win-win. That is what it is. It's a win-win situation. That is what it is. All right. And so regardless whether the market goes up, down, like the other curve I showed you, regardless of what is taking place, we are still investing consistently. We have an end goal. And see, this I'm working with an average approximation. There is a high probability that with the same amount of money that you are going to be investing, you'll be hitting into the millions. Because if the fund does well in the next 10 years, boom, that is you up there. Okay, if it does not, DCA takes place and you are also highly diversified, simplified but diversified. Okay, all right, let's move on. So now the step 6 is you keep the portfolio simple, like I elaborated earlier, very simplified. We go for a broad diversification. We move to a smaller growth allocation. Then we move to accumulation funds, okay? And then we can shield a little bit, but any fund that gives us dividend, because some of these funds will give us dividend. When it does, what do? Instead of us receiving the dividend, we reinvest. And all of this will be set up. When we set your account up, that's it. It goes running. And so dividend will be reinvested. You don't need to do any other thing. Just keep pumping in. And then the 10 years, we're like, woo! Okay, all right, let's move to the next. So you use my structure properly. And this is how you do it. You use your stocks and shares ISAs, your workplace pension, if there is any. And if there is not, how do you know there is none? Go to your payroll, whoever is in charge. Start having that conversation. Your employer contributions, utilize it. Okay, any other appropriate account allowances that you are entitled to, you utilize it. Workplace pension specifically, you utilize it, because see, we need to save at every point. We need to reduce our tax payment at every point. And this is some of the systems that you can utilize to reduce tax payments. Now, if I ask you to go and invest in the stock market and you go and create an invest account, you'll be paying tax. You had it, yeah. But if you invest in the stocks and shares, ISA, you don't pay tax. Any dividend you receive, any stress you gain, the growth margins you gain, they are all yours. You don't pay tax. All right. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so now you invest on the payday. I think I've said quite a lot when it comes to investing on the payday. Like I said, you need to set automations. Now, you don't need to start with 1,800 or 3,600. That's not how investment is done. You build with time. It could be 50 pounds, 10 pounds. All I need is you are ensuring that you are topping up, you're moving up, you're moving up. Because the end goal is to ensure that 1,008 or 3,600 moves in. And so if this month I have 500, I'm moving in. We have 600. We move. See, this is life. Anything can happen. And I do understand that. And so move, start from somewhere. 1,000 pounds, build to 1,005. You move in. If you can do your budget and we can put quite a lot and we can cancel quite a lot on our budgets, then by all means, move straight in. It's on you. Only you can do this. When some of us come in, we only come in to help. But you got this. And see, I root for you. I yearn for you to do well because I want you to take your belief systems seriously. And one of the ways you can do this is when you don't focus too much about money. Allow money to be money and do it business because you hold a command of it. And then you move to the next level and focus on what actually matters. Spending quality time with your family, enjoying real quality time without arguments, without shouting here and there because there isn't a lot of money. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Okay, so now every improvement fits the investment. What am I talking about? Your pay rise, loan finishes. So now, if you have a loan, when you finish paying that loan, I need you to still tune in as though you are still paying the loan. And the same amount of money you are paying on that loan, move it to the stock market. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Any bonuses, whether you were expecting it or not, when a bonus comes in, a percentage goes straight in. I'm getting some business dialing in here and there. I'll pick that later because you matter to me, all right? Please subscribe if you haven't. And of course, when the mortgage cost falls, we're doing the same thing. Subscription, if it is not needed, cancel. In my household, I do not have a Netflix. It doesn't mean I can afford it. I cannot afford, but do I need? No. Because I have a target year and I have a target number and I'm working towards that. All right. And so please, like I said, you need to stick to my system. If you stick to this system, you'll be good. And regardless of how much we earn, whether a pay rise, whether we move to a managerial position, regardless, we will not have a lifestyle inflation. We don't need Mercedes because we have a pay rise. PCP, PCN, that is why you're flapping your money onto. No, we're not doing that. On Yacht Finance, I'm sorry. You can't be on this platform and be living your life like that. No, you can't. No. You cannot do that. Okay, you can't do that. All right, so now, like I said, we review and then we reduce the risk. And so every year, you may be receiving an email from me. Hi, how are you? Can we book an appointment because I need us to review your portfolio? Now, you do not have to. You can decline my invitation, but to me, I feel like it should be part of the whole process, all right? You pay me for my time, but I also care beyond how much you're paying me for. And I believe everyone out there will be doing the same thing, especially institutions. Once in a while, they want to review your assets and see how they are doing, all right? And so the money I need first and then money for the long term. So what is happening gradually and what I believe may be taking place? We can do a little bit of readjustment, or probably we may have assessment with a portfolio and we go like, okay, no, stick with it. Keep doing what you're doing. We're good. We're doing well. Yeah. And then once again, the system end-to-end on reminder. I have said it, I spend much time on the system. Once again, if you are with me, take a screenshot of this. All I need you to do is the next 120 months, you are going to put this on repeat. That is all I need. This is the system that you need. Put this on repeat and you will not go wrong. Put this on repeat and you'll not go wrong. Okay. Build that emergency fund. Restructure your household. Build a diversified core. See, oh my days. Don't chase the hype. Don't chase the hype. All right. Feed every improvement into the portfolio. You pay for knowledge. Pay someone. Set the monthly investment target. Take control. You calculate the risks. You know what your numbers are. Okay. Invest on the payday. How do you do this? Before your pay hits. See, we are about to hit the end of August. My budget is already done. And I can show that to you. I know how much it's going to be for my guilt-free spending. I know how much is going to go into my investment portfolio. Okay, I know how much will be going on other assets that I control, other business. I know how much is going to go in. And so, see, before I even wake up in the morning on 31st to check what is happening, they are gone. There's no manual behavior here because I'm human. And so the moment as I see more money, I'll be like, should I go to maybe the next holiday? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So ensure that there is an automation in place, okay? And then our final slide where I'll then move myself and make myself a little bit larger. The money isn't the point. Time, freedom, and choice are. And so 10 years, one income, one system, 122 months. Can you do this? Can you do this? Is it possible? If you ask me, it is possible. You can do this. Once again, I yearn to see you at the top. Thank you so much for being a part of me and being a part on this live stream. And say to someone, have you been on Yahtzee yet? Anyway, do me the honor, share, like, leave me a comment, send me an email, yardfinance25@gmail.com. And in my description, you see all the links, how to contact me, and also get a copy of my new book, okay? All the wealthy people you admire, they've documented their journey. This is what I recommend for you. This is what Yard Finance actually recommends for you. I can't wait to see you at the top. Once again, God richly bless you. I need to jump onto a different session, and I'll catch you in the next. And so saying, you'll not see me tomorrow on live. I'll be on live on other platforms, but then on Thursday we'll be back on live. So it's every other day. Okay. All right.